Okay, well, welcome to the Pivot. It's we're here January 11th, 2021. We're looking at a 7-game NBA slate. We're live from Crybaby Hill Studios. I'm down in the studio. Julio's upstairs because we're Zoom meeting this and we're getting a little echo. You can see in his backdrop. That's my lovely living room there. So anyway, how you doing, Juice?
Good, man. Was an 8-game slate, but magically, with the magic of COVID, turned into a 7-game slate.
Something I think we're going to be dealing with a lot, like what we did with the NFL,
Yeah,
is that our slates are going to change each night as information comes out. And we've been trying to figure out a way to manage getting our information out to you guys the best way possible. We're here at almost 2 o'clock on a Monday, where the games don't tip off till 6. So there will be information that comes out between now and then. But we're gonna call this kind of a first look here.
yeah. Well, first, I'd say first look and sort of pre-avalanche of news sort of look, because I think probably in a couple hours is when we should start getting news kind of thrown at us. But the good thing is there's basically most, I'd say 5 of the games start 6 p.m. and 6:30 Central Time, and then we've got 2 games. Actually, yeah, 2 games that start at 9 p.m. Central, and I don't think there's too much news that we should be waiting on for those 2 later games.
The Toronto,
So
Portland, and the Indiana, Sacramento game.
yeah, I think we should be relatively okay with that, unless barring some unforeseen stuff. So I think we should be good to go for the most part.
Well, great. Since there's only 7 games, we can probably take a little bit of time here to talk about each game and break down a little bit each game. Are we going to do that while building a lineup also?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably be a good idea. Just let's kind of go game by game. Let's start off with like who the main players are. Maybe some lower price players that if we need some salary relief, we can go to as well. But yeah, let's just go through the game. The first game I've got on the DraftKings site is the New York Charlotte game. So you want to go through that?
I've got New York. Sorry, I had mine. Yes, New York Charlotte is the game I have first. Sure. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start off at the top, or you want to start off at the bottom? What should we be looking for here in this game?
Yeah, so let's go team by team. Let's start off with the home team, Charlotte, and so Charlotte's been quite an interesting team so far. Lately, they've been going with this sort of 3-guard look lineup with Devontae Graham, Terry Rozier, and probably right now the clubhouse favorite for Rookie of the Year, LaMelo Ball. LaMelo has not been starting. However, I just don't know how this coaching staff can keep him on the second unit much longer. Last game, I had a lot of him, and he treated me right, man. He basically gave us his first triple-double of his career. He's just playing lights out. He played 31 minutes, 61 DraftKings points.
Wow.
I mean, his salary was $6,700 that game.
So he
got bumped up to
10x.
Yeah, he got bumped up to $7K. I still think that's entirely too low. The only thing that gives me a little bit of pause is the New York Knicks tend to play at a slower pace. So that's like the only real concern I've got.
Yeah,
his minutes keep
the
going
Knicks
up.
can be a boring team to have guys playing against. That's for sure, right?
Yeah.
So Ball somebody that you see playing in your final build?
He's definitely up there. I mean, they're so, without jumping too far ahead, Philadelphia is playing. They've got the minimum 8 players that the NBA requires to field a team. So there is huge value there tonight. We'll talk about that.
Did they have a game? They had a game yesterday where the same issue happened. Is that correct?
Right. The thing was, though, it wasn't on the main slate, so a lot of people didn't really know what was going on, maybe. And Tyrese Maxey, man, he blew up. If you had him like in the showdown,
how expensive was he?
Oh, I think he was probably the minimum. I want to say
He's
he
free.
was close. He went from let's see what he was at. So yeah, he went from a $3,200 salary. No, actually, it doesn't show his salary, but I want to say it was like 3,500. He scored also 61 DraftKings points.
Wow.
So he probably like 15, 20 times his
So I
value.
can put. I saw the ball stat line. I missed this guy. What was it? A triple double also?
He was 18 of 33 from the field,
Wow.
7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 39 real points.
Did he come just straight from the G League? Take it and
No. This kid has some talent. He was one of the best players on Kentucky last year.
Okay.
True freshman, highly touted out of high school. This kid's the real deal. I think Philly got a steal on this kid. I was watching him a little bit like preseason. He looks really, really good. So it
We'll
wasn't
talk.
really a surprise to me.
Well, let's finish up the New York Charlotte game. We'll come back to him as we
Yeah,
get down to the later. He could be a hammer, huh? Late night hammer, maybe.
yeah. I mean, that game, we're going to be playing a lot of pieces from
I
the Philly game.
that seems like a dream game to me. That game, and even like the Phoenix Washington game seems like those are pretty dreamy here coming up.
Yeah, and we know that Westbrook is out, so it'll be a Bradley Beal show. He's been ruled in, I believe. So just real quick on the Charlotte side, I would say definitely LaMelo Ball is in play. We talked about him. Terry Rozier is interesting. I mean, he's decent salary, but I just don't see getting much in tonight. I mean, just with all the value on the board, I don't think I'm going to go too much there. I'm just looking at some other pieces. Gordon Hayward's been lights out so far this year. He's 7,900. He's small forward, power forward eligible. He's certainly in play. PJ Washington's been pretty good as of late, but his salary's bumped up now to 6,400. So I'll probably take a pass tonight. Bismack Biyombo, also center, salary's kind of up there for his production. I don't really see a huge ceiling from him at that price tag. So those are kind of your main plays on Charlotte. Cody Zeller's obviously still out, so he's out of play.
Is Hayward someone that you would be considering tonight at 7,900 or?
I mean, I'd be considering him. I'd frankly, I think I'd rather play LaMelo over Gordon Hayward. I just can't see on this slate me playing 2 Hornets
right
on our lineup. So it'd be one or the other for me.
And on the Knicks side, is there something you like?
I mean, Elfrid Payton took kind of a price increase at 6,400, getting good minutes. I don't know. I'm just not. I think at that price tag, I'm kind of off. Dennis Smith Jr. got a couple minutes yesterday, so RJ Barrett also his price is kind of up.
Yeah, they're both in that
cash play. Good cash play. Not someone I'd be looking for in GPP. Reggie Bullock also. Let's see if Alex Burke, if there's any update in him. Yeah, it looks like he's out as well. So
yeah, it looks like Bullock. There's a lot out there with Bullock, Toppin, and I'm not even going to try to say that.
Toppin's out. Toppin's out. So don't worry about him.
That's what I'm saying. There's a bunch out. Burks is out, right?
Yeah. Julius Randle, he's been great, but 9,600. I mean, he's kind of approaching elite status at that salary. So
yeah, I was going to say that's a big status for him. I mean, he's 50, 60 capable, or
yes, he is. He's been lights out this year. So he's certainly someone you could consider.
Is he 70 capable?
I don't think he's hit that sort of ceiling yet, but I mean, certainly in the 60s.
Okay.
You could certainly see him go there. But I think if we're paying tonight, I'd much rather play Sabonis at Sacramento for $300 less, or even maybe go up to Giannis at 11,000, find that $1,400. I don't think salary is going to be too much of an issue tonight. So
okay.
I'll probably stay away from a lot of the mix. And plus the total is one of the lower ones on the board. It's 212. So I'm just going to stay away from this game. I think for the most part, I would say LaMelo, Rozier, Hayward, if you want to throw a couple darts. That would kind of be, where I'd start. But let's go to Memphis and Cleveland.
Okay.
So go ahead.
What's the point total on this game?
So this one's also very low, 206.5. This is the lowest total on the
Did
slate.
we say the New York Charlotte one?
I'm sorry, 212.
Okay.
So a little
Those
bit
are
higher,
low.
not much. Yeah, these are two of the lower totals
Okay.
that we'll look at on the slate.
We've got
Looking at the
Ja Morant out on the Memphis side. I know that.
yeah. John Morant's out. Colin Sexton is questionable. Darius Garland is out. Kevin
Porter
Love is out for
Jr. is
Cleveland.
out.
Porter Jr. is out. Quite a bit of injuries.
Windler is out.
Yeah. I would say if you want to pay up at center, one of the best players on the slate is Andre Drummond. We love playing Andre Drummond.
I love me some Drummond.
He dropped 63 DraftKings points last time out at 8,700. He got bumped up to 9,200 this game. I like him. I will tell you that going back to Philly, Joel Embiid was clear to play tonight.
Right.
High pace game in Atlanta. Not very many bodies. He's going to get probably more minutes than he's used to. So I think Joel Embiid, I would prefer him over Drummond, but you'll never hear me talk bad about someone who wants to play Drummond, right?
Gotcha. I like Drummond.
Another play that you could consider in this game is on the guard side for Cleveland. Let me pull him up. He's been fairly solid. If Colin Sexton plays, you could certainly fire up some Colin Sexton, but Damian Dotson's been pretty good. He's 4,900 though now. There's not a lot of meat left on that bone. So I'm going to probably pass on Damian Dotson at that price salary. If he was like 3,500, I'd say, yeah, let's fire him up.
So is this game a complete fade, you think?
For me, it is. Yeah. I'm not going to play. You could consider, let me look at on the Grizzlies side. In GPP, I always like looking at the big man, Jonas Valanciunas. He's 7,200. That's a fair price for him. With Joe Val, it's always about the minutes. If he gets minutes, he can smash. But I just don't really see him with Brandon Clark coming back, just smashing in the spot. So yeah, I think we could make quick work of this game and move on.
Okay. The next one is Milwaukee at Orlando. What's the point total on that one projected at?
This should be one of the higher ones. You had 225.5. So you could see right off the bat.
That surprises me because Orlando has often been a pace down kind of fade. This year, they're not quite as paced down.
No, they're sort of middle of the road this year. And Milwaukee, we talked about it last show. They're a pace up team, so they like to get up and down. So 225.5 is a decent point total for them. So I don't mind this game at all. I always love playing Giannis. He's let's start with Milwaukee. So Drew Holiday, I really, really like at 6,900. My rule of thumb with the Bucks, though, it seems like, is I like playing when it's Drew, Chris Middleton, and Giannis are the three main pieces on this team. When one of those guys sits, one of those three sits, the other two become sort of guys you really should consider. When they're all three in play, I tend to just want to go Giannis and then kind of forget about the other two. So typically I play.
And tonight we believe all three are in play.
Yeah. So I would say you could definitely go Giannis. And then if you want to throw some GPP darts at the other two guys, Drew Holiday's fairly priced at 6,900. I don't think he's overpriced. Chris Middleton, he's kind of got a little bit of a price hike at 8,200. I think there's other plays I'd rather play. So I would say Giannis, with all the salary relief we're going to have at 11K, we got to remember Luka Doncic was also one of the higher price guys.
Right.
He's off the slate now. So Giannis is going to be one of those spend up guys that we're going to seriously consider playing tonight. The other thing with Milwaukee is you always want to, I love playing Giannis when I think the game is going to be close, because when it's a close game, he's going to get his full allotment of minutes. And that's usually when he can hit his ceiling.
So
When
I don't, to be honest, I haven't jumped on board enough to know whether Orlando will give him a good game tonight. What do you think?
they're missing a couple pieces. I mean, they lost Fultz for the season, so Cole Anthony is a starting guard. I think Michael Carter Williams is out, if I remember correct as well. Let's see, he might be questionable now. Um, yeah, he's out. So they're thin at guard, but Vucevic, I think, is a pretty solid play at center always. He should be able to do well against Brooke Lopez. I mean, I think they could probably keep it close. The spread on this game, it's plus 10, so that's starting to get into sort of blowout possibility for me. But again, I mean, we've got players we can spend up on tonight, so Giannis is certainly going to be one of those raw points kind of guys for me. So I think we could probably go to the Suns Wizards game if we're done with this one.
So yeah, I think so. You basically what I kind of heard there was pretty much just Giannis right now because all three are playing, and we don't like anything on the Orlando side.
I always like playing Vucevic.
I'm a big Vuce fan. It'd be hard
one
to
of my
play.
favorite big men.
It'd be hard to play both him and the Freak, right? Tonight.
I don't think it'd be hard. You could definitely do it. I think you'd be eliminating some potential big spends like Joel Embiid. I mean, you could play Joel Embiid in one of the center spots and play Vucevic at utility and play Giannis somewhere else if that's a route you wanted to go to. It's something we can certainly look at. So I don't mind that at all. Dwayne Bacon is, he's 3,700. He was 3,000 a week ago. James Ennis is still 3,000, and he's in the projected starting lineup. So, he's again salary relief as well if you want to use him. But it'll probably be Giannis for me, maybe some Vucevic, and I don't mind Aaron Gordon either. His minutes are starting to trend upward. He's still at a very good salary at 6,700. So with him, it's just about getting the minutes. So
wait, 7,900. 7,900 seems really cheap for Booker playing Washington, doesn't it? It's Booker.
Are we going to that game next?
Oh, I'm sorry. Wasn't that the one after Orlando, Milwaukee?
Yeah, it is. We can jump to that game. Sure.
I'm sorry. I
No,
automatically moved to that game, and I've been looking at that, thinking of what I want to ask you.
No.
Yeah, let's go Phoenix at Washington. That's the next game on the DK schedule. To me, this seems like a fantasy dream, or would have been last year. I'm still getting caught up with this year's slate. I have not been playing as much as you, and but this would seem like a dream stack type scenario with Phoenix playing at a fast-paced Washington last year. Booker seems so cheap as he, but tell me why he's that cheap.
So Booker he's okay. So here's the deal with Phoenix. Years past, they've been a team that we've targeted for offense. Just play guys against Phoenix because they've been such an up-tempo team. But this year, they've added Chris Paul to the roster. Chris Paul has sort of changed that team's defensive identity quite a bit, along with Jay Crowder being on the squad. So this is a stat that kind of jumped out at me. They're the slowest paced team in the NBA.
That is that's a shock to find that out.
Yeah, I mean it surprised me as well. But they're 7-3. They're up there in the West.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a decidedly different team this year.
Yeah, they're good. They're a good real life.
I could see how that would affect Booker having Paul there. It's definitely taking some shots away from him. So
he's such a ball dominant guard, right? Booker,
right.
Paul. So like he sort of, which I also think. I mean, Booker is more of a natural shooting guard. But last year he handled the ball a lot more because they needed him to. So his stats are kind of down this year a little bit. So that's why you see kind of the shave off in the price for Booker.
Right.
But he's projected around 40 points. Nothing earth shattering. It is a pace up matchup for Phoenix. So there are definitely some plays in this game. One thing we do want to mention for the Wizards, Thomas Bryant, I believe, is out for the season.
He's out for the season, so, partially torn ACL. I saw that.
Right. So Robin Lopez is projected to be the starter at center.
Okay.
I do not like playing Robin Lopez at all. So you might as well I'm just going to forget he's even on the slate. Raul Neto has done really, really well.
I noticed that name.
Yeah,
I always forget that Westbrook plays for Washington. Wow.
yeah. Bradley Beal, I like Bradley Beal a lot. I almost like playing Bradley Beal more when Westbrook is in the game. I
When
feel
he's
like when he's in the game, I don't know what's been going on, but when Westbrook's there, Bradley Beal's usage just goes through the roof. I think it just has to do
I
with
had asked you about that. The last show was I said that I'd noticed just kind of sweating the stat line that Beal and Westbrook were combined putting, I think Westbrook had a triple double and Beal had a 40-point game one night. I could see that being positively correlated together.
I can too. I mean, it's certainly something that we definitely need to start looking at moving forward. But I will tell you that I am not going to be scared to play Beal when Westbrook is on the floor, at least from what we're seeing so far this year. Denny Avdia for Washington, he's also been playing pretty well. He's 4.3K, so a little bit of salary relief. I don't mind him at all. But the thing with Phoenix, I just haven't been playing a lot of these guys so far this year because, like I said, they're a good real life team, but no one is really just blowing up with usage. So I feel like they're a team maybe you want to bet on, but not so much for DFS purposes.
Okay, I like that.
So let's go to the next game.
So I'm surprised to find out that Phoenix was a slow-paced game. I didn't hear any plays that we were just loving in that game at all.
I don't really love any.
Okay.
I will take some shots on Bradley Beal. So if I'm playing one bullet, we'll have to look at it where we're building our lineups. But he's certainly someone you could look at. But man, other than that, there's really nobody that's just jumping off the page. So if you think about it so far, we've almost eliminated this game entirely. The Memphis-Cleveland game, we've almost eliminated. So I like where this is going. We're starting to kind of pare this down to maybe a 4 or 5 game slate,
I like it.
which I think might be popular, but I sometimes like we say, eating the chalk, you got to do it, right?
Right.
And we can get different in other spots.
Yeah.
So
we snort chalk. So
yeah, we snort chalk. Yeah. So let's go to the game of the night.
That would be Philadelphia and Atlanta.
This is the game that everybody's going to be hyper focused on.
Atlanta can make anybody a fast-paced team, right?
Yes, absolutely. So this is a 221 spread. Atlanta is favored by 6.5. So I mean, if the rosters were complete for this game, I think it'd be the other way around.
Young is questionable and Rondo is out.
Rondo's been out for a while. Young is banged up. So let me give you the projected starting 5 for Philadelphia.
Okay.
So we have Tyrese Maxey, who we talked about. He's a starting point guard. Yeah. Who do you think the shooting guard is?
Well, I have it open, so it's Green, right?
No, Isaiah Joe.
I don't. Oh, 4,100 Isaiah Joe. What's Green doing? Is he playing small forward? Oh yeah.
They have him at small forward. So he's 4,700.
Wow.
Mike Scott, number 3 in your program, number 1 in our hearts. He's a power forward, right? He's at 3K, the stone minimum. Okay. And then anchoring up the starting 5 is Joel Embiid at 9,800.
Wow.
So here's the deal with Embiid. This is why I love this game so much, right? His salary did not really increase whatsoever. And with Embiid, he's a points per minute monster. Let me read you who the bench is tonight for Philly, okay? These are household names if you're ready. Dakota Mathias at 3.9K. He's listed as shooting guard. Paul Reed, power forward. He's at 3.3K. Tony Bradley and Dwight Howard are at center, and they're at 3.3 and 4.8K respectively. So what I'm thinking here is Tyrese Maxey, a lock. He is lock and load.
I'd already started
100% of our lineups.
What position?
He's point guard.
So I have put Ball at point guard. Do I?
No, we've got Tyrese Maxey in right now.
Okay.
He's just locked that spot up. He's number 1.
So is he going to be like 90% owned?
Maybe. Could be.
Okay. Just want to check. Okay, we got Maxey in at point guard.
Really, here, let me say this. Like
We're not playing
these
Bell?
type what's that?
We're not playing
We might
ball?
we might play ball. We might.
Okay.
But we've got other spots we can play him at. But here's the deal with Tyrese Maxey. He's 4.7K. He just dropped 61 DK points. Granted, Joel Embiid wasn't in the game, but this guy's got the green light to shoot. He's really their only true guy that can create off the dribble for himself. So this kid is going to get all the minutes he can handle. The only way I can reasonably see this kid failing tonight is foul trouble. And even if he gets in foul trouble, they really don't have anyone to put in for him. So unless he legitimately fouls out, I don't see this kid not hitting his 6 or 7x times value. So he's someone we're definitely going to play in 100% of our lineups. So let's go on the other side of the ball. Oh, another guy that I kind of like, but again, what I don't like about Philly is we talked about Tony Bradley, who I really like tonight. He's a center only player. So we're going to be playing Joel Embiid. So we're going to basically lock in Embiid at center.
Okay.
Let's just put him in there.
I already had him in.
Yeah. And then we're putting in Maxey at point guard.
Got him in. That's it so far?
That's it so far. So if you look at this, what I love about that play is we're essentially getting two $7,000 players that are going to see upwards of 36 to 38 minutes tonight. That's great.
That's who?
When you average these guys' salaries, Maxey,
yes.
Embiid,
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're getting massive usage and massive minutes. So this is when you eat the chalk and you just don't even think about it.
Yeah.
So
do we think Embiid will be as chalky as Maxey? Probably. I
don't think he'll be as chalky because of the salary, but I think he'll be fairly chalky. So let's go to Atlanta here. You mentioned Rondo was out. Bogdanovich is also out. He's a guy that's been getting some run. Kevin Huerter is also listed as questionable, but they're saying he's probable. He's probable. He got upgraded. So that's actually good news. Let's see what they say about Trey. Trey Young, probable also, so he should play. He's been in a weird sort of funk this year. Usually I love playing Trey Young, almost every single slate. But here's the thing with Atlanta that I've noticed this year. They are really, really a deep team now. They've got so many really good players that I think that's taking away from what Trey has had in the past. It's primarily been the Trey Young show with everybody else. But now you got obviously Trey Young. You've got Bogdanovich who's out. Cam Reddish has been solid. Tony Snell is, I think, supposedly back. DeAndre Hunter's been good. Gallinari's been, he's a guy that can score the ball. John Collins, him and John Collins aren't seeing eye to eye lately. Clint Capella is also in there. So they've got a lot of really, really solid players that can score the basketball. So it doesn't have to be all about Trey Young anymore. But let's look at some of the salaries for Atlanta. See, here's the other thing with Philly is even if they're getting blown out, they don't have anyone they can play. I mean, even if they're losing by 20, those guys are still on the court. I mean,
so Beeb is definitely playing more minutes than he's used to playing.
Well, I mean, they've got Bradley and they've got Dwight Howard, so I can see them probably going big this game and slowing the ball down quite a bit. Maybe playing some 2 center lineups at times and just going ultra big. But he should get massive minutes tonight. Reddish is pretty solid at 5,100. I don't mind him if now that Bogdanovich is out. I've been playing a lot of DeAndre Hunter early in the season, but his salary is starting to catch up with his production. He's 6,200. So
I'm a big Hunter fan. Really, I think he's kind of underrated out of the class of guys from last year.
For sure. He's a really solid player. And he's kind of taken that next step. So Capella, he's 7K. I don't love that salary. John Collins, 7,400. Don't love that salary either. So So I think we could probably move on from this.
So we're not going to run anything back with Philly or with the land against Philly? Because I didn't hear anybody.
Maybe we might, but let's go through the remaining games and let's see if there's anything else we can sort of find. I still think there might be some more players that we can play from Philly. Danny Green, I just hate playing this guy, but he's got to get a lot of minutes tonight.
What about the 3,000 guy? Are we playing him for Philly?
Mike Scott?
Yeah.
They loved Mike Scott in preseason, so I could see him getting quite a bit of run. It's going to be basically him and Paul Reed. Yeah.
That's pretty cheap.
It's pretty cheap. I mean, I definitely would not mind. I think power forward is a fairly barren sort of spot. I mean, you've got Giannis, Randall, Sabonis, you've got Siakam, you've got some definite studs at power forward, but some of these guys are center and small forward eligible as well. So we'll circle back, but let's go on to the next game. So the next game I've got are the Pacers and the Kings. And this is also
I've got the next game as Toronto, Portland. So
okay, let's just go there.
Let's save Indiana, Sacramento to the end.
Okay. So the Raptors and the Blazers, 230.5 over under. So this is one of the higher point totals of the night. The Blazers are favored by 5. The Raptors went into Golden State last night, and I watched this game because I had a little sweat going at the end, and
nice.
They lost to Golden State last night in a very close game. Their starters got a lot of minutes, so it's a back-to-back. So it's something we certainly want to look at. But let's look at some of these salaries here. I always love me some Dame time, but here's the thing: this year, CJ McCollum has been quietly one of the better players in DFS this year.
I'm a big CJ.
He's been outproducing Damian Lillard quite a few games this year.
DK's catching up because 8,800 is expensive. CJ McCollum.
Yeah, we're talking about a CJ McCollum that last year was like in the 6s at times.
And it's hard for me, who's just now getting back in the groove of things with NBA, to understand that McCollum is 88 and Booker's 78. That's for the end of the season last year. That's a drastic change. So
it's a constantly evolving league and game. So we had raises a good point. You got to keep up with these salaries, right? I mean, the game changes quite a bit. But on the Portland side, I like Damian Lillard. Here's the thing, and Damian Lillard can go off at any point against anybody. They call him Dame time for a reason. But Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry, I think, are two of the better defenders at the guard position.
For sure.
So I would sort of say at 9,700, I'd much rather play Embiid at that salary. There's other guys I'd probably rather find the money to go for Giannis and spend up a little bit there. So I think I'm going to stay away from a lot of the Blazers. Yusuf Nurkic is interesting. He's 6,600. His minutes are starting to get ramped up. He basically admitted just maybe last week that with stuff that happened with COVID and his grandmother, I believe, he was very close with, he really didn't train a lot in the off season. So he's starting to get into game shape again. And his minutes are starting to come up. So I'm waiting for that Nurkic explosion game to happen. If you remember in the bubble, he blew up, man. And so I'm waiting for that game to happen. I kind of want to be on the front end. So I'm playing a lot of Nurkic lately because I want to be on that front end of the explosion when it does happen. And this is certainly a spot we can do it in. I like Lillard. McCollum is fine. I don't mind him.
Seems a little pricey against the Raptors for both of them.
They're all kind of pricey, but again, it's a high over under, and they've got a good implied team total. So someone's going to have to score. I don't mind any of these guys. I just don't love them. Nurkic, I do kind of like at 6.6. But let's go to the Raptor side of the ball. So Kyle Lowry had a really slow start yesterday. And I think the third and fourth quarter, he just kind of started erupting. and single-handedly brought him back. Fred VanVleet's been great lately. He's been playing really, really well. Norman Powell's been inserted in the starting lineup. He's okay. He's one of those microwave guys that can, once he gets it going, he can score points in bunches. OG Anunoby, he's just kind of like one of those like Swiss Army knife guys that does a little bit of everything, but doesn't really do anything really, really that well. They're not really counting on him to score too much. Siakam had a great game last night. I played him. He did really, really well. Another guy I really, really like on the Raptor side of the ball, Chris Boucher. I don't know if you've been watching him at all this year, but I think this guy had 6 or 7 blocks last night against the Warriors. He's long, he's lanky, he's really springy. He's great defensively. He can shoot the 3 ball, and they're leaning on him more offensively. He's kind of taken another step. So I don't mind Chris Boucher. I like the fact he's power forward eligible as well. So you can play him in a couple different spots. So I don't mind him. Terrence Davis is another guy that I think we should probably keep an eye out on. Like I said, they played a tight game last night. Starters played a lot of minutes. So Terrence Davis might get a little bit of extra run. And he's 3,600. He's a guy that can absolutely get going. And again, this is a high-paced matchup. So I could see him doing pretty well at that price point. So he's maybe he's possibly a good pivot from maybe some of these Sixers guys, right? So that are going to be extremely, extremely popular.
You
want to go to the next game?
Sure. And that's the Indiana at Sacramento, correct? What was the point total of that last game? I don't know if we discussed the
we mentioned it was 230.5.
Oh, wow. So okay. And what's the last one?
Sacramento and Indiana. So Sacramento's hosting Indiana, 227.5 point total.
Okay. So
Indiana's
the highest
by
is
5.5.
The Toronto Portland game is the highest, huh?
You could honestly, Matt, you could make an argument that we could just cut this slate almost in half and just take parts and pieces from the last 3 games.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Here's the thing. Don't even open up your laptop till around 8 p.m. Central Time, because you're going to be crying because your lineups are going to be at 0.
Right.
But literally, I mean, you could make pretty good solid lineups with only pieces from those last 3 games if you wanted to. And that might be something I'll actually think about doing in a couple lineups. Because the other thing too is they're the late games, and we might not get a lot of the news till at the very end. So it's always a good opportunity and a good strategy to leave some spots open so you can pivot at the end of the night,
Right.
So it's something we could consider. But let's get into this game. So Indiana at Sacramento, 5.5 Indiana's favored by. So Malcolm Brogdon has been lights out this year. He's been fantastic.
So consistent for the last couple of years. I mean, just such a great play. Like, you could make a lineup and play him every night almost and be fine.
I agree 100%. He's so good. He's been so good. He's getting priced up at 8,300. I still think there's an opportunity there for him to do well. Sacramento can't stop anybody. I was watching the Sacramento-Toronto game 2 nights ago. I think Sacramento or somebody scored like 130 points in the first half in that game. I mean, there was just literally no defense being played whatsoever in that game. So I mean, in terms of a pace-up opportunity for Indiana, this is going to be one for them. But Brogdon, absolutely. Here's a guy that I think we could certainly put into the player pool. Victor Oladipo at 6,900. I think that's kind of a salary decrease. Pace-up spot. The minutes are starting to trend upwards. He's about a point per minute guy. So if he's getting like anywhere from like 35, 36 minutes this game, I think he could do really, really well. I think he's kind of morphing back into the Oladipo pre-injury.
Need him to be at that price, though. We're going to need him to be about 35 to 40, though, right? $7,000.
Yeah, we do. But this is a spot he can certainly do it in. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
And,
I mean, he's
and 80
projected.
at 8,300, do we think Brogdon's capable of 45, 50?
Yes, I
Okay.
do, for sure. And then here's probably my favorite play of the game. Um, Domantas Sabonis at 9,300. He's power forward, center eligible. I think this is. I think he could easily get 50 points, no problem. I would probably project him around 54 to 56 points. And at 9,000, that's about 6x. So he's one of my favorite plays on the slate tonight.
Uh,
I love
I
me some Sabonis.
he's just solid, period.
He's really solid. So let's go on the other side of the ball. We've got De'Aaron Fox, who was banged up was questionable a couple nights ago, but he's been playing through it, been playing pretty well. 7,900, don't mind it. Here's the deal. I think Indiana is pretty good defensively. They got good defenders. I will probably shy away from a lot of the players on the Sacramento side of the ball tonight. There's Jackson.
He's been barking. He's been giving me fits today.
That's all right. My dogs do the same. But I'm looking here. I mean, Buddy Hield
I see him as questionable on here.
is he questionable? Ooh,
Yeah.
That could actually open up a couple things. If he's questionable, see, this is exactly where I don't see him. Let's see, Buddy Hield.
No,
Yeah, I see him as questionable.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one of those opportunities where, if you roster someone in one of the earlier games, you're possibly eliminating a good play that could open up towards the end of the night.
Would
And
that
one
be
of those plays for me, Halliburton.
He's
Tyrese
6,200 though. He's almost the same price as Hield.
I think he does more stuff than Hield. I mean, if you've watched this kid play, he just fills up the stat sheet, man. Like he can assist, steals, rebounds. He's a great outside shooter. I think this kid is going to be the real deal. I love his game. But again, I would probably only play him if Hield were out. But if we leave that spot open, that might be one of those spots that could possibly win you a tournament, So he's someone I like. Hassan Whiteside's been getting more minutes, but I think now that they get in their front court, we're not going to go there. Marvin Bagley, he's okay. I don't mind him. I think really
Whiteside plays for the Kings now. Huh? I'm today old when I found that out. Wow.
Yeah, he was with the Blazers in the bubble.
Right.
So, but I think it's just kind of a stay away for a lot of these guys.
Okay. Well,
so you want to go ahead and build one?
Yeah, let's build a lineup. I've kind of been listening along and trying to determine from your tone what your favorite plays are. My problem is the lineup I've kind of built together based on what you said has little money to any left over, and I still have two positions left. And I don't know that we have $2,000, $3,000. So I've got Maxey, Halliburton, blank, Greek Freak, Embiid, blank, Scott, and Sabonis, and only $6,000 left over. So who would I take out?
So we talked a lot about the Philadelphia game, right?
Right.
And I think where they have some, even just a sprinkling of depth, is at the power forward center spot. So if you remember, we talked about they've got Tyrese Maxey at point guard.
Correct.
They've got Isaiah Joe at shooting guard. They've got Danny Green who can play shooting guard, small forward. So we've got that. And that is pretty much it. Matthias is the other kind of small guy they've got. That's it. That's all they've got. So I think I wouldn't mind playing either Joe or, man, even going Matthias. Like, what a lot of people will say is they'll look at that starting lineup and they'll say, well, I'm going to play like as many starters as I can. That's fine. But one thing we've learned over the years is maybe just getting that second unit or that second guy that comes in. Maybe Joe gets into foul trouble and Matthias gets all the minutes he can handle. That instantly leverages us over maybe 30 to 40% of the field. So, and this Matthias kid can shoot. So I wouldn't mind going Matthias here at the shooting guard spot.
Okay. He's a lot cheaper than Halliburton too, huh?
Yeah, he's 3,900. So now we've got small forward and power forward eligible. Let's look here. We certainly could look at a guy like Danny Green. I don't know if I want to go Danny Green. He just doesn't do a whole heck of a lot else. You know what? Let's just put him in here and kind of see what happens with the rest of our lineup. Because there's some other plays I sort of like around that we could potentially fit in. Oh, Danny Green's 47. Okay.
Yeah. So right now I've got Maxi, Matthias, Green, right?
Okay. Let's put in LaMelo Ball at the other guard spot.
At the okay.
The guard utility spot, because I want to play him tonight. Okay, so small forward.
So I don't think we can play Greek Freak, Embiid, and Sabonis, right, tonight?
Probably not.
Right. So which one do we like better out of Sabonis and Embiid?
I think we should definitely play Embiid. Here's what we can play. We can play a power forward. Here's what we're going to play. Mike Scott. He's a great play at 3,000.
I already had him in.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Okay.
So now we can pay up a little bit. So small forward, we're at 7,200. I still think we can pay down a little bit here. We talked about Victor Oladipo. He's got a good price at 6,900. I don't mind playing him. Let's see if there's someone else we can go a little bit lower on.
Well, let me tell you this. If we play Embiid and Sabonis, it leaves us 7,600 left with the lineup we have.
Do you have LaMelo Ball in there?
I have Maxi, Matthias, Green, Scott, Embiid, Ball, blank, Sabonis.
Okay, so you put in
I could put
in Green.
Yes. Did you not want me to do that?
Here's what I would say to that. Let's put in
Here, I'll take Green out. I can take Green out. Let's do that. Okay. So now we have two spots open. I put Sabonis in at forward instead of utility. We're averaging 6,100 with the small forward spot and the utility spot open.
What a small forward, Cam Reddish, just to get another, a piece of that game on the other side. Let's see what his minutes look like lately.
Well, we could put some Valanciunas in there and just pray he plays.
So he got a price increase. He got 34 minutes last game. You got 27. His minutes are fairly secure. Here's the thing. I think there's just as good a shot that Cam Reddish keeps pace with Danny Green. And I think there's a reasonable shot that Cam Reddish outscores Danny Green. And he should be significantly lower owned.
Okay.
So I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on Cam Reddish, and that gets us, the opposing part of that game, right?
Okay.
And that leaves us with about 8,200 left.
Wait, okay, I'm confused. Let's make sure we have the same plays in.
Yeah.
I've got Maxi, Matthias, right?
Yeah.
Reddish.
Yeah.
Scott.
Yep.
Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
Ball.
Yep.
Sabonis.
Okay, I haven't put Sabonis in, but we can put him in now.
I mean, he's a smasher, right? We got to get Sabonis.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So that leaves us 7,200. That's why I was saying Valanciunas, if he plays a lot of minutes, would be a great play. Though they do have Drummond, who actually is one of the few players that actually matches up with him. I heard you talk about Drew Holiday somewhat, right?
Yeah.
You said Barnett's a good cash play, but we're not thinking he has a huge ceiling tonight.
We could put in Nurkic at center
instead of Embiid.
Yeah, and then let's see. So I'll leave this with $600 additional. Let's see if there's any sort of pivot we can go at on.
That leaves us 10,400.
I guess I'm losing it here. So I got Maxi, Matthias, Reddish, Scott, Embiid, Ball, Sabonis, and Yusuf Nurkic.
Okay, I was confused. I said instead of Embiid, and you said yeah. Okay, so leave Embiid. Okay. So put Nurkic where?
At the center spot.
Oh, I have Embiid there.
I'm sorry, the utility spot.
Okay. That just leaves us a lot of we've got 600 left over. Right?
Yeah, I don't know honestly if I mind.
Just having the extra.
Yeah, I don't mind having the extra, to be honest. There's really no.
I've noticed nights where there's really random players that cost 3,000 and 4,700 that you're often going to have some left over because you're just not going to want to pay up from those spots, right? So
Right.
it makes sense on nights where there's some super value that we're going to have a little bit left over at times if we're playing the guys we want to play. So
I
but
mean, there's, you could make an argument that LaMelo Ball.
I think Chris Paul is a good spot against Washington at 7,100.
I don't mind Chris Paul. I would say, here's what we can do. I'm just seeing if there's someone at the guard spot that we would like in the later game that we could play.
I think for the purpose of the pod, we've given him a good lineup, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. I'm happy with this lineup.
I think at the utility spot, it leaves some choices. If you want to play Chris Paul at Washington, which I think I might play, just because I think that's an optimal Chris Paul spot. And if you're ever going to play Chris Paul, tonight's the night. If you want to play Nurkic and leave some money left over, I think that's a good play.
I do too.
I think there are a few others even in there in that range that it gives you some versatility at the utility spot there that you can choose from.
Yeah, I know I like this lineup quite a bit. I really do.
So
yeah, let's fire it up.
We're gonna try to get this pod out ASAP, and we're gonna try to. I'll see if we can't. If you make between 5 and 6, look on our Twitter feed. We'll hopefully have some changes. Hopefully Abby will be helping with that.
Yeah, we'll post the final lineup. I mean, hopefully, like between the 5 and 6 o'clock hour Central Time.
Sounds good, man. That good lineup build. I like it. You're teaching me some stuff because some of these guys I've never heard of. I'm just getting back in the NBA swing of things, and I'm having to figure out who's who again.
Hey, I mean, these are the types of slates that we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to dissect a little bit because like when there's only 8 players on a roster, if you think about it, there's there's 48 times 5, right? So there's 240 minutes of potential minutes available in an NBA game. If you divide that by 8 players, every player is going to be playing a minimum of 30 minutes, right? So, and not everybody's going to play 30 minutes. So there's going to be certain players that are going to be playing maybe 40 minutes. So minutes is money in NBA, man. And if you could get those guys at good salaries, I mean, someone's got to score, get rebounds, get assists, get blocks.
That's the great thing about NBA is you just know they're going to happen. So
right, I mean, somebody's got to absorb that usage. So
what's the slate?
Be those guys.
What's the slate look like tomorrow?
Assuming that the world doesn't come to an end tomorrow, let's see. I think it's only a 2-game slate tomorrow.
Oh wow! Okay.
No. It's I was wrong. It's 7-game slate.
So we'll be back tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we'll be back.
Okay, bud. Sorry, I got a text as we were finishing up there.
Yeah.
So we'll be back tomorrow. We'll try to get the final lineup between 5 and 6. Let's do this real quick. I mean, since we're building lineups, we kind of talk about our favorite plays, but who's your favorite guy above 8,000 to go 6x? Who's the smash guy? Sabonis?
Embiid.
You like Embiid? I'm going to go with Sabonis.
Yeah. Okay, I think they're both plays.
Best play under 5,000.
Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah. I can't really compete with that. I think that guy's probably the one I'd go with too. So, okay. I enjoyed it. We'll get this down a little bit more as we kind of get used to doing some of these. I think as the bigger slates, we'll probably just focus on the plays that we like and not do the whole thing. And the smaller slates, we'll try to get each game like we did today. So anyway, appreciate you taking some time out and giving these guys some lineups, and let's get this off to J Master J and figure
Yeah,
out.
man.
We'll
Win some
see.
money, man.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, man. Take it easy.